There's only so much time, so many seconds in a minute, so many days in a lifetime. There are only so many resources and so much prosperity to be reaped. The world is finite, yet a gross proportion of everything rests with a disproportionate few. A few countries who have developed at a rate only possible in an imbalance of what little there was to share. Electronic technologies, with the promise to connect and elevate the world, was to be the great equalizer of these inequalities, yet historically has only reflected the disproportionate status of those who have and those who do not. There are only so many minds, outnumbered by the problems they must solve. We look again to a new technology to solve our issues, one that is not bound by physical limitation, rather composed of ones and zeros, and thus infinite in capacity. This is data science in the developing world. It is a technology sustained by everyone. A Google search, a barcode scan, a pacemaker reading, a CCTV footage recording, all contain data. Sums of this data are interpreted by intelligent machines in real time. Patterns emerge from trillions of data points, and data points to places, times, actions, past and present, that when interpreted by these machines make sense of the subcontext of life and give us insight previously technologically inconceivable. We are living in the age of data science, and in industrialized countries, data science has become commonplace in many markets, used by many corporations and utilized in almost every field of industry. However, the potential of big data is only discussed in these developed countries. In truth, the application of this technology can have much greater impact in the developing world. To help explain the benefits of data science in the developing world, I called on my friend Grace.
Hey!
Grace, take it away.
So, unsurprisingly, there's an enormous gap between the utilization of big data in developed and developing countries. However, with careful planning and consideration from policymakers, government agency, and international organizations, big data can be of great use in emerging markets, especially in the context of understanding the extent and nature of poverty. By analyzing the data generated on social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter, experts can detect early signs of crisis, for example, a spike in the price of staple foods, increase in unemployment, and outbreak of diseases. The UN Global Pulse team refers to these signs as digital smoke signals of distress that can be tracked several months before anything happens. So these digital smoke signals are much easier to identify, as we've seen a rapid increase in the digitalization rate of developing countries. Particularly, cell phones are one of the most important sources of data in this context. While only a little over a quarter of the population in developing countries own a personal computer, approximately 90% owned cell phones in 2013. The vast amount of data can be analyzed to offer help to those in need and allows for the development of efficient solutions where they are needed. IBM has been applying smart technology and big data analysis to monitor water shortages, specifically sources that provide essential drinking water to those living in developing countries. The company was able to help a city in South Africa by launching an app called Water Watchers. The app allowed users to capture and share information about water distribution systems in their region by reporting any water leaks, faulty pipes, and other water conditions in canals. It also accessed sensor information to analyze supply and demand patterns of groundwater extraction data to efficiently manage water loss through theft, leaks, or metering defects. With the help of this application, the city learned it was losing up to $30 million in wasted water, which beforehand was quite literally money thrown down the drain. Data science also has the ability to facilitate agricultural and farming activities in developing countries by analyzing real-time data regarding farmers' various needs and capabilities. In emerging markets, small farmers face various challenges. Notably, they're unable to sell entire harvests due to oversupply or not getting the planned harvest yield. This is all due to the lack of access to necessary information. Big data can help address this issue. AgriLife is a platform accessible by mobile phone that collects and analyzes a farmer's production capabilities. In turn, it provides fast and efficient availability of resources to rural farmers in emerging markets and act as an integration point for mobile network operators. financial institution, and produce buyers. AgriLife facilitated the transfer of over $2 million to 120,000 farmers in Kenya and Uganda. In Uganda, AgriLife has information on nearly 10,000 farmer clients. The platform is also being introduced in countries like Senegal, Zimbabwe, and Zambia.
Thanks, Grace.
Yeah, of course. No problem.
It becomes clear that there are in fact many benefits to the application of data science in the developing world. But with a technology as powerful and pervasive as this one, there are bound to be risks as well. I called up my friend Sam to shed a little light on the situation. Sam, can you tell us a bit about this?
Absolutely. Now, one of the biggest concerns people have with data science is the privacy concerns that it brings. Over the past 2 decades, several privacy issues have been discussed ad nauseum in the developed world. From Facebook to the NSA, this is something that we as a society are very conscious and aware of. However, in areas like Canada and the EU, we still have legislative laws that serve as some sort of protection against privacy breaches, whereas most developing countries in the developing world do not. Here in Western culture, we are far more concerned with our privacy and freedoms because it is directly tied to our free speech and sense of identity. So when organizations start to abuse our privacy rights, people get mad about it. This is opposed to countries in, for example, Africa, where governments put higher value on different beliefs other than privacy and free speech. Nigeria is a country that has a population of over 196 million people. This has next to no privacy laws that are anywhere similar to Canada's bipedal laws. Another problem with African countries is the great majority of them rely on foreign aid to function. The problem with this is that foreign aid is applied to more pressing issues like poverty, hunger, clean water, before it gets applied to other things. This puts privacy issues far down the list of issues. In Asia, it's a slightly different story. Many of the perceptions of privacy are based on class and gender roles, heavily prevalent in the already established culture. People who are among the lower class in countries like India view privacy as something that only the upper class can afford, so they don't really worry about losing it. Also, in family settings, men's phones are often treated with more privacy respect than women's, which is something that is derived from generations of cultural difference. It's actions like this, as well as the lack of privacy legislation, that leaves people's private information at risk. Finally, beyond privacy issues, the lack of human resources, expertise, and necessary infrastructure is another barrier to the implementation of data science projects in these countries. Harvesting accurate information requires technical skills to manage data mining and analyze methods. Even industrialized countries, such as the US or those in the European Union, have reported a massive need for data-related workers. As you can imagine, this makes filling these roles in less developed countries an even bigger challenge. Adding to this, the use of data science in emerging markets is hindered by the lack of appropriate and reliable infrastructure to collect and hold information. For instance, the Indonesian healthcare system has seen an increase in the number of cases of diabetes. However, it is difficult to measure any information beyond the effects of intermediate outcomes. The current way the information is analyzed fails to show any valuable information on its detection rate and outcomes. For these reasons, the developing world might still be a ways away from the total big data implementation.
Information makes you you, and it should have a right to be protected. Going forward, it is essential for the developing countries to embrace the benefits of data science and to prepare for the commodification and violation of their data. While this was only a brief look at the state of data science in the developing world, the years that lie ahead will reveal the true impact of this technology.